Hey there guys, in this video we're showing off my build for the Galatine Prime. Now, I recently just got the Galatine Prime, like, a couple hours ago. I went around, started using it, seeing how it felt, seeing how it played, because, I never really got the normal Galatine. I didn't really feel the need to get it, and, I just didn't really like longswords anyway, so I just never used it. But I heard that the Galaxy Prime, it's really good. I would recommend it. People saying they recommended it to me. So I went and got it. I recently just got to like Master Rank 13, like not that long ago. And I went to built it straight away because I already had all the parts. I already had the Oracle cells. I was waiting to get to a Master Rank 13 so I can actually get it. And I got it a couple hours ago. Had it around, used it. And for the past hour, I've been in the simulation testing it because it just released it on the Master Rank 30 like an hour ago. And I've been testing it out, seeing how it works, all the builds that go with it. And I'm pretty confident with this build. So confident because I'm gonna show it like straight away because usually I'd wait like a week, a couple days, at least just feel the weapon to see if it actually is good. But I am pretty confident with the build I have now, and I'm pretty confident that this build is going to be really good. Well, it's the best build that I can make with what mods and tools I have, and I'm pretty confident with showing it. So yeah, I'm gonna show right now why I think it's probably the best build that I made. I also have another one which similar except a little different. A couple key mods have been switched out. Let's go see. So as you can see, I'm using the stance where I don't know what it's called, but it's stance where you do little slams to the ground. Ooh, little nerves. As you can see, straight up doesn't really do that much damage, but once you build up that the hits onto the enemy and you knock them over, you can just do massive amounts of damage. As you can see there, it's already killed them all. There's one over here, and it fell off. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, again, it's more of a build-up weapon, because it has this weapon is a slash weapon. That's that's its thing, is to build up slash. You're gonna see once you if you have built up your combos to about around 40 to 50, you're gonna be seeing you're gonna be just doing massive chunks of health away, and then those eventually get bigger as you'll get proccing more slash onto the actual enemy, and so it'll get bigger and bigger, and then they'll just be dead. So that's kind of the kind of play you're going to do with this weapon. It's more of a build. You're going to build up that damage. It's not going to be straight up damage like some weapons. It's going to be more of just a slow build up, and then it's just going to be you're going to keep out the damage you're doing, and it's more of a build weapon. Don't expect this weapon to be straight up just destroying every single enemy, but it's still pretty good, for the build up. And I really like this build. Usually, in my opinion, those kind of weapons are usually better because especially this weapon, as the build up is to get to that point where you're going to be doing a lot of damage. It is really quick. The time you have to do to get to that point where you're going to be doing a lot of damage is very quick, and that's why I say it's a good build. Because some weapons they do, you can pretty much put this type of slow build on pretty much every single melee weapon, but what makes him a good melee weapon for this build is how quick it gets up to that point where you're going to be doing like a maximum amount of damage. And I feel like the time for this weapon is very quick, and that's why I'm saying this build is very good. And that's actually get into it. I'll show you off right now. So as you can see, so we'll switch here and show you what I've changed. As you can see, the stance I put on is Cleavering Whirlwind. As you can see, if you're pretty if you're a veteran of the game, sorry, I just had a brain fart right there. If you're a veteran of the game, you probably know what, like, just the way I was using, the way the weapon was moving. You probably knew the stance anyway. This is probably, as you can see, it's a rare stance, so it's very popular. I see a lot of people using when they're using this kind of weapon, especially a lot of newer players because it's pretty easy to get. I got it pretty quickly when I was just farming for mods. And yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. I think it really goes well with this build, especially with the slamming, and then you push the enemies down, because it's pretty much its own little blast effect. Because if you don't know what blast does, you obviously do. If this is a more advanced build, this is not really for a beginner's build, but blast normally knocks it over, and it's a native blast effect when using the stance, because you'll be knocking enemies over, and then you can go up and you can do a critical final blow hit, and you do a massive damage with this, especially with the spin and all those like added extra damages and the extra slash and all that. You're just gonna stab straight into something there. You're gonna be doing massive damage. That's where you're gonna be killing the enemies the quickest, is with knocking them over. And then the second quickest is when you're doing the swing and when you get built up. And I just love the stance. It goes well with the weapon, with the build that I've made. It's just really good. Would recommend the stance. Again, all these mods are pretty typical of a build that I would normally make. Blood Rush, Berserk, True Steel, Fury, Organ Shatter, Drifting Contact. Again, Pressure Point, Prime Pressure Point. Pretty much the same thing. This is just one level higher. It only adds like a 15 more. But again, when I found that extra 15% damage it adds quite a lot. So that's why I've kind of used it. Again, it's only like a couple more slots it takes. So I don't know how to put it on. But the one difference of this weapon with this build is Rendering Strike. And the reason that I put Rendering Strike on this is because this weapon is mainly in slash. It's a mainly slash weapon. Full on. It's just massive amounts of slash into it, and I found it was worth it to put Rendering Strike on, because normally I think I've only put Rendering Strike on like 2 other builds, and they're all slash builds, and that's because if a weapon is high in slash, it's worth it to put more in, because usually if it's like 5 in slash, there's no point in adding it in for adding like Rendering Strike or a slash increasing mod, because it's gonna add nothing. But if you have a weapon that has like a lot in the slash, like the Galatine Prime, you're gonna be adding like big extra chunks of slash with this weapon. And I found that because this build is extremely similar to my other build which I made, which I was using before, which was the one I was going to show, but I wasn't really as confident with it. And the only difference with that one is that I have reach on that one, and I don't have reach on this one. I have switched it out with Rendering Shadow. But I found with this build, with the extra slash additions to it, it was just, once you got, again, no real difference at the start. You're doing no damage. There's no real difference at the start when I was testing it. But once I got to that like maximum damage when I'm doing massive chunks, I saw a huge difference, and especially in the killing blows, I also saw a huge difference. And I think the reasoning for that is, or actually I saw a huge difference in like when I'm just doing normal attacks, not the final blow. I did see a difference, but I saw a bigger difference in when I was doing like continuous hits to them. And that's because it's proccing more slash onto them, so it means the slash procs are going to be doing more damage, and that means that's going to be adding onto the damage you're already doing, so you're just going to be doing more chunks of damage. So I think it's very worth it putting Rendering Strike onto this weapon, and I think this can make a build like this, like a normal build, is like my normal kind of like star build. Usually if a weapon is good for crit, I usually put this build on. But excuse me, I think Rendering Strike just adds that extra punch and puts it into the realm of being a great build. Especially for like for it's kind of beginners, because this is a build around for like level 13's level. I mean, not level 13s, master rank 13s, master rank 14s, that kind of stuff. Because you get this weapon, you can only build this weapon at master rank 13. So that's what I'm kind of aiming for. That's also as I mentioned before, I'm master rank 13. But I think this build is really good. I think this build will last you through for ages. The build will go through many different master rank levels. I think it's a very good build, especially with the Rendering Strike on. Yeah, I think it's just a good addition to this and again, one addition it also adds is to it, like leaping attack, spinning attack, and wall attack. Again, leaping attack pretty useless. Wall attack, again, extremely useless. I never ever do wall attacks. But spinning attack, that's where this just gets really good, because one combo with one of the combos you can do with Clever Whirlwind is this combo here is a broken bowl, where you press E, pause E, and then E, and continuous E. And I'm just gonna see if I can recreate it. I can usually recreate it without when I'm not attacking enemies, but when I normally am, it's kind of hard, and it kind of just happens. But if you're able to get that combo right, you can do this massive whirlwind of the spin attacks, and this will destroy groups of enemies, because again, with that added extra damage into spin attacks, you're just going to massacre groups of enemies. One, because it also increases your reach because you're spinning constantly around, and you're doing all this extra damage for, with your blood rush and your berserk, and you do just all of your critical damage, and then add it on with all the slash damage you're doing, and then add it on even further with your spin attack. It's just a mixture. It's a recipe for this killing massive amounts of enemies, and that's the one thing. Like, if you're able to do that, you're just going to massacre enemies. And the problem is that I usually have trouble. It's usually when I do proc that combo, it's usually by accident. I'm not aiming. That's like not my intent when I'm attacking. It just kind of just happens. But when I do want to do it, it doesn't proc. It never happens, and it's really annoying. So I wouldn't go into battle and expecting to pull off that combo, because it's for me it never happens. But if you do know how to use combos and how to actually use it in battle, and how to proc them in battles every single time, I would recommend doing that, going in and trying to do that for battles. But don't go into the battles with the intent of doing it. Just kind of just let it happen. If it happens, it's good. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't really matter. But when it does happen, I feel pity for the enemies that you're going up against, because they will just be massacred. And that's the thing about this build, is that, like, there's so many extra layers of damage you do to enemies because of just all these extra things. And with like one change in the mods, rendering strike, you just do massive amounts of damage. Now, one thing that I would really want to add is reach again, because I think that would be really good, adding reach. But again, most of these mods are here to make it so this weapon does unbelievable damage, so I can't really switch any of them out. I don't want to switch out Fury, because that gives up your base damage, like your straight up damage, and I don't really want to switch out. Definitely don't want to switch out Berserk. True Steel is probably the mod where it's the one where I kind of want to switch out, because it's adding critical chance. Again, it's not really that important, because we have Blood Rush, which adds utter amounts of it. But I kind of like the little extra critical chances added on, especially for the start of it, so that you can actually proc Berserker. So you can actually So I think it's good, because you having the startup critical chance, so that you can proc Berserker straight up. So that means you're hitting faster, so you can proc Blood Rush even faster. You can get those combos even faster. So I don't know. I think it's kind of just like this massive join of just circle of damage, and I don't really want to take that one out. Again, it could still work. This build could still work. You can still get Berserk pretty quickly. But actually, let's test it out. Let's see how quickly we get Berserk, because I remember it being pretty quick when I was playing and testing before. Okay. So you get Berserk relatively quickly with True Steel on active, which is pretty good. That means you're pretty much going to be getting to that point where you're going to be attacking and getting to the point where maximum damage a lot more quickly than you would if you didn't have that extra True Steel at the start of when you're attacking. Let's just take that off. So, and we'll put reach on, actually. Why not? So I think having True Steel on is very vital to why this build is so quick at getting to that maximum damage. But we'll see. We'll have a little test. See how quick we get. Again, we're not proccing it yet. There we go. There's one. Okay, there we go. Again, it's not as quick as it was, and also we're not really getting that really quick damage. Again, that was pretty slow. I think I'd much prefer having that True Steel on too, so that we have that initial critical chance that will allow us to get to that increase in speed, which will allow us to get those combos on. And I think it's just worth it having True Steel on, and I think us not having reach, or me not having reach, is a good trade-off, because reach again isn't really that important. But again, it's a good mod so that you can do good damage to group enemies. And there you go, we've already got it. That's extremely quick, and as you can see, we've already got to that maximum damage extremely quickly. We're already just doing massive damage straight up. And there it goes, falls off. The one thing I hate about this weapon is because it keeps knocking them off, knocking the enemies off the side. And that's the one problem with doing it here, is because there's so many gaps and it's annoying. I wish I can choose where you do the simulation. I don't know if you can choose. I'm pretty new to the game, so if you can change where you do the simulation, please tell me in the comments. And yeah, again, that's pretty much the end of the video. Nothing else really to talk about. If you like the video, please leave a like. If you dislike the video, leave a dislike and tell me why you dislike the video so I can actually improve as a creator. And just thank you for watching. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy life to watch my dumb videos. And thank you. Thank you for actually getting to this point, because my watch time is usually 2 minutes, because people usually get sick of this voice, or me, or I don't know what's the problem. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.